is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so we learned a bit more about who the main antagonist of the series actually is, and we also do learn just what kind of impact Stain actually had on society as a whole. So, immediately after the fight with Stain, Ida, Todoroki, and Deku are approached by the chief of Hosu Police, who both reprimands and thanks them at the same time for what they did, pointing out that while he is thankful for what happened, he's also a bit upset with them about how they kind of went in on their own without any real plan and kind of did things irresponsibly, and that there's a reason they should be licensed as heroes first before actually going in to fight villains, because things like that can happen. And he points out that in fact Stain is indeed in the hospital, and while he is going to be docking the pay and reprimanding the pro heroes responsible for each of them, for example, Gran Torino, Manuel, and Endeavor are all going to be scolded and reprimanded for what happened because they weren't paying attention to their proteges. He also points out that they are going to be covering up the story and going to be changing it a little bit so it looks like Endeavor actually handled everything. So it's clear that now, since everybody believes that it's Endeavor, people are now interested in him even more because he is kind of the number 2 hero, and considering the fact that Stain was found with several burns on his body because Todoroki used his fire, that means that now Endeavor looks like a possible suspect in who actually took care of Stain. But the problem with this is that now, not only do people think that the League of Villains actually had a motive because of his connection with the League of Villains, but now several smaller villains who have been united under his warrior cry, or so to speak, and have now assembled under him as a banner. So now people think that the League of Villains is a pretty real threat, and that's kind of a little bit dangerous. And we also learned that while Shigaraki is the guy calling the shots for the most part, he isn't the main antagonist. So we actually find out who the main antagonist actually is. So, and we also find out that now Ida isn't able to use his hand to his full potential anymore because there might be permanent damage there. So he points out that he may actually have lingering damage from his fight with the healer killer Stain. And then also Uraraka gives everybody their condolences. But for the most part, she points out that she's sad that she wasn't able to be there. And Deku kind of freaks out because it was like she was whispering in his ear. And he freaks out that it was the first time he actually called a girl on the phone. So he freaks out a little bit there. Because it's quite obvious that he has a crush on Uraraka at this point, if you haven't figured that out. But then Gran Torino actually calls All Might and tells him what happened. And All Might's fears are confirmed. That the entire possibility that the main villain, All For One, who hasn't been pictured yet, but we've heard his voice up to this point, it's clear that All For One might come back, considering that it's entirely possible that he's completely controlling everything, and he's also apparently responsible for the reason why All Might isn't able to maintain his muscle form anymore. It's because All For One ripped a hole in his stomach during their last battle and was presumably gravely injured and unable to make a return. But now All Might is having second doubts about that. So it's clear. So we're definitely going to be seeing All For One further in the anime, and it's revealed that All Might's predecessor was indeed killed by All For One. So it's clear that All For One is a pretty dangerous dude. For one thing, he's limited. He's the reason the whole time limit on All Might's powers exists in the first place, and he killed the previous holder of One For All in a fight. So overall, he seems pretty dangerous. Combined with what we already know about him, about the fact that he's somehow able to absorb and transfer quirks, possibly due to his own quirk, it's clear that All For One is a pretty dangerous individual, and I'm kind of a little bit scared to see where it's going to go from here. But also, there's not going to be much plot in the way of the next episode, because the preview reveals that next episode is going to mostly be about everybody and their experiences during their internships, which we've only seen glimpses of up to this point. So they're going to be making an anime exclusive clip show for the next episode, which I'm definitely looking forward to. I don't know if I'll review it. I'm probably will, but it might be a bit interesting just to see what kind of situations we saw with them going forward. But it's clear that we're going to be seeing All For One going forward, and there's going to be lingering repercussions with Stain, because now his motives have gone viral, and now a bunch of other heroes and villains are now wondering if the League of Villains actually have motives and aren't just a ragtag group of villains. And some villains who we haven't gotten names for yet are now probably going to join up against the League of Villains. So while Shigaraki isn't entirely happy with how things went out in terms of making the front page and all that, because that's what his primary goal was. He sent out his nomos in order to try and earn the front page and earn the respect that the League just so desperately craves. But in the process, he actually wound up looking like more of a bad guy than he actually is, because Shigaraki up to this point doesn't really have a motive. He just wants to kill All Might for the sake of killing All Might, and wants to cause chaos for the sake of causing chaos. It hasn't been confirmed what he wants to do yet, and if he has a motive at all. So it's clear that people now think he does have a motive because of Stain, and now he has to try and live up to the motives now that Stain is in the hospital and presumably going to be arrested and sent to prison immediately after. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the rest of the story is going to play out, and I'm interested to see what kind of villains we can expect to see going forward. But if you guys have seen this episode of My Hero Academia, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter in the description below to keep up to date with what's going on with the channel and all that good stuff. And also, if you want to help support me, then be sure to go check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate it if you did that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace! That's the main problem with this game. It balances the game, but it makes it significantly harder for you to survive. And that's kind of a problem.